Hello friends. How are you all? Yes, students. Today we are discussing Ind AS 40. This is the third video. And if you can remember in the previous video, we left off at C point on the mixed property. I will begin my lecture from here. I had started explaining concept number 4 under the name of various issues. We have covered 2 points in this. First, if a property is given to an employee on rent. If you take rent or not take less rent or more, it doesn't matter. We will consider it as PPE. Second point, if a company purchases a property with no defined use, it will be considered as appreciation and apply 40. However, if we purchase a building and its use is not defined, then Ind AS applies silently. So prima facie interpretation was that we will cover this in 16. If it had to be covered in 40, it must have been written. 40 only talks about land. Nothing about the building. Okay, so we have already covered these points. We will begin today's lecture with mixed properties. And please add a mark on top of this. Today we'll cover many concepts. Mixed property. There is a company X Limited. And this company has a building. This building consists of 4 floors. Out of these 4 floors, the ground floor has the office, which the company has opened on this. And they are running their business from this office. Their employees and staff sit here in this office and they run the business. Okay? And the remaining 3 floors. Which ones? First floor, second floor, third floor, and they have let out all these 3 floors. Okay? Don't you understand what I'm saying? See, I own a building. Single. And in the very same building, I am also running my business. And I have also let out a portion of the same building. This is called mixed property. Mixed property means? It means when a property serves dual purpose. For example, we are running our business there and also earning rental income by leasing it out. So a problem arises in front of us. What should we do about this? Should we apply Ind AS 16 to this or apply Ind AS 40? Because if we look at the concept of business here, okay, so then this is called owner-occupied property and Ind AS 16 should be applied to this. And if I look at the let out portion of this, so this comes under the Ind AS 40. A confusion arises here regarding what we shall do with this building. Where should this building be displayed? Its accounting should be done according to which Ind AS? Issue is this. And I know what's going on in your mind. You are thinking, the children in the final year are young and get ideas quickly in their mind. The task is difficult. Apply Ind AS 16 to the ground floor and Ind AS 40 to remaining 3 floors. You are right about that. But it is not quite as simple as you think it is. For this, we need to discuss 2 conditions. If you ever encounter a property in mixed use, if you ever see any property in mixed use, then you will have to study 2 separate cases in it. But it's not that simple. You must think, why isn't it simple? It's simple. Okay, let me make the example complex. This was just one building. It had 4 floors. Can you see the 4 floors separately? You thought that one and the other 3 are separate. So apply different Ind AS. I'll take an example. Leave this. There is a company X Limited. This company has a floor. It has one single floor. And this floor is of 3000 square feet. There are no multiple floors, just one floor. Now what did they do? Out of this 3000 square feet of area, 15,000 square feet was used to set up the office. Meaning, they are using half of the floor for the office only. And the remaining 15,000 square feet was let out. They earn rent from there. The floor is single. It's single floor. And I know you are still thinking what a difficult task this is. 1500 square feet is half area. So you should apply 16 to this one and 40 to this one. Difficult task. What is the complexity in this? I know all this is going on in your mind. No, but you haven't understood what I said. Ind AS 40 states that if you ever come across any mixed property, so you can't just say it straightforward. Apply 16 to the office portion and 40 to the let out portion. That's incorrect. First of all, you should check that the mixed property that is being discussed, it is separable or it's inseparable. You check that. Now you might ask about these cases. What is the meaning of separable? Separable means that the meaning of separable is that if I want to sell that single portion. So what do? Can I sell this portion without selling the rest of the portions? Didn't understand? Okay, I have 4 floors. So all the floors are separate units. I live in Delhi, so I know about the law in Delhi, but I don't know what happens in other states. Floor basis registration is allowed. There are 4 floors. So the registration of all 4 can be separate and can be sold to different buyers. Owners of all 4 floors can be different. So if I want to sell the ground floor, so I can sell the ground floor and keep the remaining 3 floors to myself. This means that if I want to sell a portion of the property, then I don't have to sell the rest all. But you can still sell a single unit. So this becomes a separable case. When we can sell a portion of property without having to sell the other portions as well. Finance lease comes in sales. I explained previously. In the finance lease, the lessor is considered an assumed seller. So you can either sell it or give it on a finance lease. It's the same thing. Finance lease is the same as selling. So if I can sell any portion or give that portion to someone on a finance lease without interfering with the rest of building. So these become separable, and in case of separable it will be just as you think. Like in this example, see, the ground floor can be sold separately. So we will apply 16 to this and apply 40 to this. In the case of separable property, you can split off the property, which can become easier for you. So whatever portion you are using for your business, apply Ind AS 16 owner occupied property. Apply Ind AS 40 to whatever's let out. Because in separable property, you can trim the property. So you divided a property into 2 parts. One is shown under the PPE heading and other under the property heading in balance sheet. So we can trim and show it in 2 places. Because it can be sold separately in this case, there is a possibility. But if you talk about this floor only, it's a single floor. Suppose you've made a partition on one floor. You are using half and renting out the other half. So, in Delhi, you cannot trim and register the floors separately. Single floor can only be sold to one buyer. It is not possible to keep 1500 square feet and sell the remaining 1500. The government does not allow it. The rules don't allow. You have to sell the entire floor here. And when you have to sell the entire floor, then it becomes a case of inseparable. Which case again? Inseparable. So we cannot separate them here. And when you cannot separate them, then you cannot apply different Ind AS separately either. So on this single floor, only one of the Ind AS will be applied, either Ind AS 16 or Ind AS 40. As a whole, meaning, if you can separate the mixed property, if you can separate, then you can sell it separately, because it meets the condition of separable. Then you can also apply different Ind AS. Okay, but if you have a single floor, and you have a property, which you want to but cannot sell separately, means the entire property will be sold together. You cannot keep the office area and sell the let out area. Either this or vice versa. This can't happen, the entire property will be sold together. This is a case of inseparable property. And in inseparable, different Ind AS cannot be applied. And you will have to select only one Ind AS to apply. So either it will be Ind AS 16 or Ind AS 40 as a whole. Only a single Ind AS will be applied to the entire property. Now how will it be decided? Yes, now the matter comes, it has become a complex case. That's what I was telling you. The case of inseparable is a bit complex and you have to pay attention to a few things here. Just pay a little attention. Do you understand what I am saying here? Suppose you fight with me. Then I would say my hands are tied by the law. I cannot change the law. The law is same. If it convinces you or not, you have to follow it. You might be thinking why I am saying this. Let's say it's a case of inseparable. Okay? See, it's two cases. If your property is, if your land and building, and its significant portion, and land and buildings significant portion is being used in your business. If a significant portion of the land and building is used for your business, then you should apply here. Ind AS 16. Apply on what? On the whole property. Okay? 40 is done, it will not be applied now. Just show the entire building in PPE. Okay? Your land and building. And their insignificant portion. Insignificant. If the land and building's insignificant portion is being used in your business, so this means that nothing special is used. So you should apply Ind AS 40 on the entire property. So it will only depend on the fact whether a significant portion of your property is being used for the business purpose or an insignificant portion. If a significant portion is used in business, Ind AS 16 will apply. If an insignificant portion is used for office, then apply Ind AS 40. So we will assume that the let out portion is major. Are you confused? Are you upset? Are you sad? Now the students are complaining that I did not explain to them well enough what exactly the meaning of significant and insignificant is. I'll let you know. So significant means, please don't laugh, 20% or more. And insignificant simply means less than 20%. Make any sense? So this means that, suppose if in your business 20% or more property is used, if for your business, if the owner occupied property is at least 20% or more, I took a properties example that was 3000 square feet, which is 50%. But we need 20%. 20% or more than that. It is significant. This is 50%. This means the entire property will be treated under the 16 as a whole. I am very much concerned about this thing that if 20% of the property is being used for your business on the entire property, will apply Ind AS 16. You ignored the rest of the 80%. The 20% is significant to you. 80% is not significant for you. That's amazing. Means 20% is used for business. So you're saying it's significant applies 16 to the entire property. If 20% is for the business, then 80% might have been let out. You don't consider 80% significant. And you consider 20% as significant. What should we do? If you ever encounter a mixed property case and get a situation of inseparable, so you don't have to pay attention to how much the let out is. Leave it. You need to see how much is being used for the business. Is a significant portion used for business? Answer is yes. Apply 16 to entire property. The meaning of significant is 20% or more. But if a mixed properties less than 20% will be used for business purposes, in that case 40 will apply. That's amazing. Remember this. What did I say? My hands are tied by the law. This is written in your study material too. I cannot change your study material. I can't argue with Board of Studies. I am talking about something very old in 2018. The first time Ind AS was introduced in the CA finals. They created study mat. There were many mistakes in my first recording. In 2018 and 19, I was the only teacher to teach Ind AS. Everyone else left. I recorded videos after correcting the mistakes in the study material and provided them to students. Students started spreading messages on Telegram that my answers don't match the answers in StudyMat. I said I fixed the mistakes and got defamed for it. Whatever recordings I did after that. I said whatever's written on StudyMat, even if it said 2 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 2 is not 4. It is 3 if it is written in the study material. I say whatever is in the study material. I have to save my career because the students don't understand that. There might be a mistake back then. They ask me to teach from the study material. That's what I do. This is StudyMat's rule. Write it down. The study material has solved questions based on this too. Yes, it is not just theory there. Yes. You have to keep this in mind, my students. Come with me. I am in full form today. And just as the classes progress, it will increase. Write it down. If any. Land and building is used for dual purpose, then dual purpose means it is partly used for business purpose and partly is let out. Then it will be considered. It will be considered as mixed property. The application of relevant Ind AS will be made on the basis of following cases. Case 1. If mixed property is separable in nature. If mixed property is separable in nature. What is this? Listen. If a portion of property can be sold or can be given on finance lease. Or can be given on finance lease. without selling other portions of other portions, then it will be considered that property is a separable property. Keep in mind this. It can be sold, can be given on a finance lease, it can be not been sold. So it can be sold, you just need to test it. It has not been given on finance lease, but it can be given, you just need to take the test. If it is possible, then property is separable. Doesn't matter. You can separate the property. In business apply 16, portion that is leased out 40, because property is separable. What happened in this? Mixed property. Separable. So this can be in two parts. Portion, which is used for portion, which has been let out. Case of separable, have separated them, so we will apply. Apply Ind AS 16. PPE. Apply. Ind AS 40. Investment property. You know guys what we learned so far? Sometimes we get confused about what we've studied so far. So, in the first video we have only discussed that investment property refers to land and buildings, which earns rental income and appreciation, and the remaining building falls under different Ind AS. For business apply 16 and for agriculture apply 40. If it's mineral oil 106, if it's held for sale 105. Company is planning to sell the property in future, then Ind AS 2, 7 examples were written. Then I started the next video. In next video I explained the relationship of 100, 16 and 40. And I also stated that the accounting for rent will be handled by 16. You need to be careful whether it's an operating lease case or a finance lease. It's an operating lease case. So in an operating lease case, the lessor remains the owner and does not derecognize property. So he is the owner and remains the owner and will continue apply 40. But when we come to the finance lease, the lessor is considered as the assumed seller. He just sold the property. He no more have any right on it. So the property has reached the lessee, who is the assumed buyer. Ask him what he will do. He will use it for business. Apply 16. He will sublease it in future. Which sublease will he do? If it's an operating lease, apply 40. On giving at finance lease, he won't have it. Now ask the third one. If you allocate it to employees, it's PP. I taught you all these things. If you study with interest, everything will connect. The second case. Case 2. Inseparable. Inseparable. if a portion of property cannot be sold or cannot be given on finance lease, without selling, the other portions, then it will be considered as an inseparable properties. You cannot sell one portion. It can also be said that inseparable property can be sold. As a whole asset only. So now guys, I am going to the next page. If your notes are lagging behind mine, please pause and catch up. So students, the notes are in a pen drive, so you can pause it whenever you want and play it whenever you want. You can stop me from writing whenever you want to catch up. You have the benefit of technology. It also indicates that we cannot apply multiple standards. Multiple accounting standards on such property, because it is considered as a whole. The following rules may be considered while selection of appropriate Ind AS. Okay. So we are understanding one thing, that in the last 2 or 3 videos you have tried to explain us that the investment property will come under 40 or it will not come. That if there is other Ind AS. So this is the point which I am trying to explain to you people. In last class you have written 7 cases. In next video I'll tell that if you give it to employees, what will happen. If you didn't decide about the land, then what will happen. And also the relationship with 116. So here what I'm trying to say is that we are searching for the appropriate Ind AS selection here. So that accounting can be done in an appropriate way. Remember one thing, you are working in a large firm or are in a mediocre firm. So if you have to apply Ind AS on a company and you have gone for its audit, if you choose the wrong Ind AS, then the whole system will be incorrect. Wrong Ind AS, wrong recognition, measurement rules are wrong, the disclosures are incorrect, and what else? You will have to be careful about which building will be classified under which Ind AS. The correct Ind AS, the correct selection, and correct accounting, very good. It's professionalism. Okay, so now what will we do? So, it is inseparable property. So we will try to see this. So if significant portion is used in business, if insignificant portion is used in business, you should only see business. Ignore the let out portion. Significant in business, insignificant in business. Apply. Ind AS 16. On whole property. Assuming PPE, property, plant and equipment. Apply. Ind AS 40 assuming. Ind AS 40. On whole property. What are significant and insignificant? I have just explained you this. Significant means 20% or more. If any property 20% or more are being used in your business operations, so we will call this as significant. We will apply 16 to the entire property. We will ignore the let out. Okay. Less than 20%. So, whole concept. It's a mixed property case. So, you said that Ind AS 40 is very easy. It is very easy. This is the easiest accounting standard of yours in entire syllabus. Now let's do 1 or 2 questions. Then I will take you further. Ind AS 40. Let's check some questions of investment property. So, the question number 1. First question. Any child who need time to read. So, if you need a time to read or for some self-reading, So he can pause me and read his question. Okay. Okay. I will read the question in the class. Did you understood? If you didn't understand, then tell me. Don't waste your time. You can take some time to understand. I will start the questions. Sun Limited owns a building. A building. It's a building, so in which Ind AS it will come, and having 15 floors, of which it uses 5 floors for its office. The remaining 10 floors are leased out to the tenants under operating lease. Now you know that an operating lease is a genuine lease. One who is the owner remains the owner. If this was a finance lease, so these 10 floors will be of someone else. We wouldn't think of it because we would have lost it. In operating lease, we'll remain the owner. All Ind AS will apply to us. So this Sun Limited, it will ask you, has 15 floors. In use 5 floors. 10 are letting out. That too on operating lease. Tell me which Ind AS will come. So let's see. This is the case of separable or of inseparable. Like about the floor question, there are chances of it being separable case. According to the law, the company could sell legal title of the 10 floors while retaining legal title of the other 5 floors. Okay. So they can sell these 10 floors. And they can also retain the remaining 5. Clear? This means that one of the portion can be sold without selling others. You can keep 10 or sell 5 or vice versa. It's a case of separable property. And in the case of separable, we can choose different types of Ind AS. Okay, students? So, the 5 floors that are being used for the office will fall under Ind AS 16. So, the 10 floors that have leased out will apply Ind AS 40 to them. This is the answer in the given scenario. The remaining 10 floors should be classified as investment property since they are able to split the title between the floors. You can also add another line. The other 5 floors, which are used for office purpose, should be considered as PPE under Ind AS 16. You can add one more line to this. Sir. So, I have a doubt. Will this type of question come in the exam? No, guys. Chances of these questions in your exam are very less. This is just a revision of these concepts. I will let you know about the question that may come in your exam. Did you understand? These are only for self-reading. This is the justification of the concepts you have studied. You saw a question and you are now fully satisfied. Not for exams. Just read them. Keep in mind and forget. What are you saying, sir? Keep the concept in mind and forget about the question because it won't come in the exam. This is the statement. Question number 2. I will read the question. How to read the question? You already know the method. Moon Limited uses 35% of the office floor space of the building as its head office. Okay. So of the floor space, that is 35% share, they have used to build their head office. Then we need to see what's done with remaining 65%. It leases the remaining 65% to the tenants, but it is unable to be sold. The tenant space or to enter into a finance lease related solely to it. Did you understand? They have set up their office in 35% and they have let out 65%. And they said this is unable to be sold. Unable to sell here means this has become a case of inseparability. So if they want, they cannot sell their tenant portion. They cannot, it's unable to sell. This cannot be sold. So it's not possible to keep that 35% and sell the rest. If it will be sold, then the entire will be sold. And if not, then nothing will be sold. So this is not a half floor thing, it's a single floor which I own. This is a case of inseparables. I have just explained about inseparables. You should check that how much is being used in business. If there is significant use in the business, then put 16 on entire property. If it's insignificant, we'll put 40. Now here we have 35%. 35% is what? It's more than 20%. So if you are using more than 20% of office space, or if it's more than 20%, then it's really very significant. It's significant. If this is significant, 16 would be applicable to entire property. This is owner occupied property and would be considered PP. Okay, let's see the answer to this. The company should not classify the property as an investment property. They shouldn't consider it an investment property. So as if the company used the 35% of the floor space, it is significant. Look at this. Stating 35% as significant. Doesn't consider 65% as significant. In business, if 20% or more than 20% is, apply 16 on entire property. They have said that it should not be classified as investment property. We can add another line. It means that given property will be covered under Ind AS 16. As a whole will come in 16. And this, it will be property, plant, equipment. In the balance sheet, PP has its own place and investment property has its place. So, when you will open any Ind AS compliance balance sheet, so the first thing we will see on balance sheet are non-current assets. First asset will be PP, according Ind AS 16. The second asset would be the intangible assets, according to the Ind AS 38. Then you will see the capital WIP. So, then you will see intangibles under development. After that, an investment property. So, in the balance sheet, everything has its own place. Therefore, you will have to choose the appropriate Ind AS. Okay, guys? These questions do not need to be written down on a notebook. They are for self-reading. The chances of these questions in exams are negligible. So, our syllabus is very huge and ICI has a lot to ask from this to students. These questions aren't asked. These only give you the comfort of knowing that you understand the point. Okay? Now question number 3. I marked this important. This question in exams. It can be asked for 2 marks. Not of much weightage. For 2 marks, I will now read the question. Any student needs time to read the question, then you can stop me. An entity owns a hotel. They have a hotel, right? So, which includes a health and a fitness center. We're talking about the gym. There is a gym in a hotel, okay? And housed in a separate building, alright? So the hotel owners built this gym in a separate building. It's in hotel, so doesn't matter if in separate building. So, it's part of the entire hotel premises. I am telling you it's inside the hotel only. The owner operates the hotel and also the other facilities present in the hotel, with the exception of the health and fitness center. Alright. The owners of the hotel they runs the hotel. They are running all the facilities. But when we talk about the health and fitness center, they don't operate them. This means the hotel management is managing the entire hotel, just not managing the gym. Why? They are trying to say that which can be sold or can be leased out under a finance lease. So this is it. This is the line. What we understand from this? What about this line? Gym that has been built in this entire hotel. They are saying this can be sold. This can be given on a finance lease. It means that you don't have to sell the hotel. You can sell the gym, which is inside the hotel, separately. If they can keep the hotel and sell the gym, so then this is the case of a separable. If it's a case of a separable asset, then let's see what to do now. So the health and the fitness center will be leased to an independent operator. They'll give on lease. So the entity is no longer involved in the health and fitness center. First of all, the owner is running all the facilities at the hotel. When it's about the gym, they just want to rent it out. And this gym can be sold separately or can be on finance lease. It's a case of a separable. It's separable. And the second point is about renting it out. So this means that there are two parts of the hotel with you. Firstly, gym and other is rest of the hotel. So the rest of the hotel is your business. So apply 16 here. And the gym that you want to separate. And also you can rent it out because it's written for leased out, then 40 will apply. Investment property. So your gym will gonna earn rent for you. I went to Goa, it's a practical example. So in Goa, there is North Goa. JW Marriott. They opened a casino inside. When I went there, so the name of the casino was a Big Daddy Casino. I asked the manager of the Marriott, why it's written as Big Daddy Casino outside this casino? Any reason? They replied to us that Government of Goa. It doesn't allow hoteliers to open a casino. Only this hotel is permitted to open it. I said it's inside your hotel. They replied, when we provide our hotel guests with an extra facility like a casino, so because of that we are always full. People also choose our hotel to play casino. So what we did? We give it on rent to Big Daddies. Did you understand? I'm trying to tell you with gestures is that these kind of works are done. That will definitely gonna benefit your business. So the portion of the casino. So Marriott has given Big Daddy on rent for more profit. We can put 40 on it because income is coming from there in the form of rent. And the rest of the hotel will cover in 16. So, you see here, What did they say? In this scenario, the scenario in the question, management should classify the hotel and the other facilities as property, plant, equipment. Due to business, we'll cover this under Ind AS 16. It should have been here, but health and fitness center as an investment property. Because it is separable. It is separable from hotel. Complete these lines. Different from hotel. It can be sold, it can be on finance lease. So it's a case of separable. If leased out, it becomes investment property. When there is case of separability, you can choose different Ind AS. This second paragraph. This is extra information, you can remove it if you want. It's unimportant. Now you will say, you made us cut it, tell us these two, what is written? So, we study this if. This is another case they are discussing. Health and fitness center. Not be sold or leased out separately. If this was the question, and if it was an inseparable case, then what we had done? If it was a case of inseparability, we would have applied 16 to the entire property. The gym is opened in a small section. And the majority of the business, if it's being used as hotel, then 16 applies to property. So this is another example of an inseparable case, which he is trying to explain. Question not required. So this is a separate case. That's unimportant. So, because the owner-occupied portion is not very insignificant, it can be reversed. It's significant. This owner-occupied property is significant. Because gym is in small part and the business is in larger part. It's your significant portion. You'll apply Ind AS 16 there. Other name of owner-occupied property is PP Ind AS 16. So that's why I was saying that this is not even a questions requirement. I have already explained. So, let's move further. Question of 15th floor. Second question is about the 35%. Third question, separable and inseparable. All three questions of mixed property. This is just for knowledge. Look here, where we were. We were at case C. Mixed property. Write in point D. At point D, and its heading is Ancillary services. So, the heading for this is Ancillary services. I will explain this. Concept number 4. And we are talking about various issues. There is company X Limited. There is a company Y Limited. So, they have leased out one of their investment property to them on an operating lease. Operating lease are mandatory. If it will be a finance lease, then the story ends. Then property will go out of our hands, right? This is the lessor. This is lessee. Operating lease case. So X Limited is the owner and will remain the owner. Issue is another. So here X Limited has promised Y Limited. What was promised? That their investment property will be from time to time. Time to time. Will maintain. Understood? So why limited? So we told our tenant that the property we are giving you on rent, so we will provide you the maintenance of this for free. So maintenance means daily servicing. Got it? The walls have been well painted. A tap was broken and it was repaired. A tile cracked and it was repaired. Suppose if your wall get termite, then you will fix it. I am talking about maintenance. We promised this. So that we will provide you with free maintenance of the whole property. Why? While limited is gives a good amount of rent. Good amount of rent. Or we promised this to them. We will provide you with a security guard. Right? That we will pay the salary of the watchman who sits outside the property. I am talking about normal services. Promise to provide maintenance. Or to talk about security services. This is called ancillary services. So ancillary services means that we promise our tenants. We promise them to give small services. Now you will ask, what does this have to do with Ind AS? Nothing to do with it. I will make you right. That if a lessor provides the ancillary services to its lessee, you understand, in the form of security guards, maintenance or other expense, and it will not have any impact on classification of property. So this will not have any impact on our property. X Limited, which is our lessor, when it pays the guard's salary, incurs maintenance expenses, it will charge it in profit and loss account. However, this does not affect the classification of property. So if an asset owner, if the lessor provides any service to their tenants, let them provide it. It's none of our concern. And these services, so it is considered insignificant. Maintenance and security guards are provided, just minor details. But there is a slight twist in it. And the twist is, it's an exception. This rule I am telling you, this doesn't apply to hotels. Now you might be wondering, where did the hotel come from? So when a guest goes to a hotel, so he also rents the room. Yes, that's right. We also rent hotel rooms. So at hotel gate, a guard, service person are standing, who checks you before your entry. So to ensure the safety of the customers inside. So the hotel has its own security department. Yes, right. You also get the room cleaned by the housekeeping staff. You can find a restaurant there for eating. Why are we applying 16 to hotel? Why not 40? I just asked you a question. That a hotel is a business, so apply 16. So, ancillary services in hotel business. It can confuse the hotel business. The hotel rooms are also rented out. The hotel should also apply Ind AS 40 to its rooms. This also provides ancillary services to guests. Why do we call hotel a business? Why hotels businesses? Why do we apply 16 to hotels? It should be under 40. So firstly, the hotel which provides services to its guests, those services are only for maintenance or security. Means these services are not significant as one but whole. Whenever you go to any hotel, then you become completely dependent on the services of that hotel only. That hotel rents you room, but hotel doesn't create a lease agreement with you. But it is included in hotel's profit and loss statement as sale of rooms. 2 nights or 5 nights or 7 nights or 10 nights. There are no long-term contracts for this. For years mean, it's not like a contract for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years or 4 years. No concept of number of years is there. It is sale of rooms. What I just explained is that ancillary services are insignificant and don't matter much. But the hotel provides significant services. When you go to a hotel, you don't do anything. You are dependent on the hotel for every service. You would need to call housekeeping, even if you need a glass of water. You will have to call them if the water in the room is not cold or hot enough. For cleaning the room too, you need to call hotel staff. Are you getting me? The hotel is responsible for cleaning the swimming pool too. The hotel also manages the gym. The services provided by hotel to guests are not insignificant but seen as a whole. Hence, hotel industry is considered a business. And Ind AS 16 is applied to it. For example, if I have hotels in Shimla and Mussoorie and Manali, then I won't show it as an investment property. It's my PPE. I will say how many rooms were sold. We call it the sale of rooms. So here, don't use point of ancillary services for hotel. It's an exception. So write this. If ancillary services are provided by the owner of the land and building to the tenant. Security guards, maintenance, then it will not have any impact on classification of the classification of such land and building will still remain under Ind AS 40. Because Ancillary services are considered as insignificant in nature. If you provide some trivial services to the tenant, then it does not mean that your property's classification will change. Exception. In case of a hotel, ancillary services are also provided but these services are considered significant in nature. So, hotel is considered as a property, plant, equipment under the rules of Ind AS 16. It means that hotel is not considered as an investment property. Simple, this is enough. This is not an investment property. A hotel is a business. People visit to stay for 3 days, then leave. They stayed for 4 days or maybe a week, then left. Tell me, when you go to a hotel, do you sign a lease agreement? There's no need for lease agreement to rent a room. That's sale of rooms. It's a business. 16 will cover it. Let's proceed. There are two simple questions on this. This won't be asked in exam. Now look at question number 5. It's simple question. It says if an entity owns and manages a hotel, services provided to the guests are significant to the arrangement as a whole. There's a hotel providing services to its guests. They are significant services. Then we have, in such case an owner managed hotel is an owner occupied property rather than investment property. We will be applying here Ind AS 16. It's a business. In question 4, we are given the owner of an office building provides security and maintenance services to the lessees. Imagine a complex with multiple offices. So the owner said that they will provide maintenance and also their own watchman. It really happens. There are office complexes with multiple offices. What is the owner providing here? He is providing security and maintenance. What are these? These are insignificant services. In such a case, since the services provided are insignificant, the property would be treated as an investment property. It is a hotel, so it's a business. Apply Ind AS 16. And if an ordinary person provides small services, it doesn't matter. Keep this in mind. I bought a piece of land and I built 20 offices on it. I rented it to 20 people and provided a security guard. Security is my responsibility. This is insignificant service. I didn't take the whole package. Hotel is different matter. This means this thing will not have any impact on the classification. Okay? You are right. What else is left? There's one more point. Let's do it. Consolidated financial statements. We can also call it group statements. What is meant by consolidated financial statements? CFS stands for holding company plus subsidiaries. Holding company plus subsidiaries. Under this Ind AS, this is considered a complex point. And I need a lot of time to explain it properly. And when this E point is completed, then I will discuss some practical questions. I will conclude the theory part and then I will start with the purchase of property. Property and stamp duty were bought for these amounts with brokerage and commission. We will move towards the calculation part. The conceptual part will be done after this E point. And that's the fun part. The first few videos are a bit challenging because they focus more on theory. You have to study everything. Right? I will start next lecture from here and putting this on hold. The rest will be done in next video. Thank you and take care. If you still have the stamina to study, you can watch the next video right now. Take care and bye-bye. Bless you all.